Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to War on the Sea. It is episode 15 at this point. Guadalcanal is in full swing. We have troops on the shore, we have supplies being delivered, and hopefully we can finally take Guadalcanal from the Japanese. In the meanwhile, a couple of ships are heading home. Task Force 9, consisting of the damaged Wichita and Waller, is going back. So is Task Force 7, which is my large troop drop-off convoy, if you want to call it that. And these guys are, I believe they're empty, maybe with the exception of the Submarine. Yeah, these guys still have some fuel, which means that I could drop off that fuel over here at the rental islands and then make my way back to the main base. And with that, I can upgrade this place. And I believe once I have a tier 1 airstrip, I can start launching aircraft. Speaking of, let's have a new flight of a couple of Wildcats over here. Just going to do a small flight around here. And with Port Moresby, also some new flights. We're going to send out the Avengers, all 4 of them with torpedoes. That screen's a bit in the way. There we go. Now, the next part of the operation is seeing if I can get the Enterprise back online. Because the Enterprise is restored. She's been repaired. And that means that she is once again, well, not up for grabs, shall we say, but at least she can get repaired. Or she can be redeployed. These guys need to be released because I believe they were both damaged. Or, well, one of them was. Whatever. Release. Repair. Yeah, the McDonough is going to be done in 2 days. I think, yeah, it was the Radford, I think. The Radford took a torpedo as she was hunting enemy submarines. And she has 10 days to get repaired. So, let's bring the Enterprise back out. Now, unlike what you might think, I'm not going to have the Enterprise on the front line. At least not strictly on the front line. What I mean by that is that the Enterprise is not going to be joining the task force of the battleship. Because the Enterprise can then get shot at. That's not what I like. I like my ships safe. So what I'm going to do is just give these guys an escort of a couple of destroyers. Ideally Fletchers, because I'm a big fan of these things. So the Jenkins is going to join, and Chevalier is going to join. And I also want a cruiser. Let's give them... Can we give them a Northampton? 22 points. Yeah, we can. The Chester. The Chester's also going to join. These things are armed with 8-inch guns. That's a total of 132 of 147. So let's give him another one. It's going to be another Fletcher. Because the biggest threat is submarines. At least that's my expectation of it. Formation. I want everybody to turtle up around my aircraft carrier. So number 2 is going to be the Enterprise. Jenkins leads the group. 3 and 4 need to be the destroyers. And 5 is the cruiser. So destroyer, 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 aircraft carrier, cruiser. Done. The reason for this is that the Enterprise itself never needs to be in a fight. But it can provide air power to, well, wherever I need it. So we're going to set a course. And we're going to head towards the AO of Guadalcanal, seeing what else is out there. We're going to send up some aircraft. I'll try to keep a closer eye on these. Let's just send out 4 Wildcats and see if we can spot something. So, we're going to head that way. And sort of just zigzag my way in front of the fleet. You guys are still coming home to get rearmed. We got 1 Cimarron over there, which I sort of have parked here until we can actually drop it off somewhere. I'm not going to send it with the Enterprise because I don't really need it. And the rest of the area, I believe everybody has their orders. You can RTB since you're almost empty. You also need to RTB right about now. Can the Washington send up some more? Just to spot what else is out here? No, we don't have any more aircraft. The other cruiser that does, Wichita, you can still send up some aircraft. Just to see if there's anything in front of this cruiser as we're... No, not like that. As we're heading home. Just checking on both sides of the island there. Alright, so one of my mission objectives is being captured, or at least I hope so. The Florida Islands, right across, is next. So for that, I'm going to need another bunch of transports. And there we go, we have the aircraft ready. Let's first send you guys on a patrol. Just ensure that nothing else can actually get in here. And then we're going to send up aircraft from Washington. 1 Kingfisher is enough. There you go. You guys are heading towards the Renal Islands. Yeah, should be fine. TF9 has a contact. An enemy aircraft. Really? More zeros, I suppose. Indeed, it was another strafing run, and once again, one of my DDs was at the attacking area, or was at the focal point of those zeros, doing a bit of damage, but overall nothing serious. And they came home with only 1 aircraft out of the original 4. What exactly their plan is, where exactly they're coming from, I don't really know. I think they're still launching aircraft from Guadalcanal. How? I don't know, but they just continue to do so. And we will continue to scout until we have something else to shoot at. Looks like your group is ready. Okay, we can send up some aircraft just before it is 1700. So we're going to send up another flight of 6 Wildcats. You guys are going to continue to scout, making sure that the Enterprise this time around stays safe. Kingfisher has enemy aircraft around it. Where? Here. Oh, that's going to be unfortunate. Turned out to be a bit of a dud as they couldn't actually find me, so this is fine. I'm just going to RTB to the Washington and get some more fuel. TF7 going there and going back. Yep, fine. Now, I have done such a number on the enemy aircraft and the enemy ground forces that you'd think I would have quite the advantage at this point. I mean, the amount of losses that I took was a mere 6 ships. The amount of losses that they took was 40 ships, or 221,000 tons. They've lost 41 aircraft, and I've lost 4. So they've lost 10 times the enemy aircraft, or 10 times the aircraft, and about 7 times the ships, including quite a lot of heavy cruisers. As opposed to my losses, which was 1 light cruiser of the Atlanta class, 1 of the Cleveland class, 2 Farraguts, a Fletcher, and a Submarine. So it's really not that bad. Another encounter there with an aircraft. I'm just going to ignore that. Enterprise is currently operating at night time and thereby cannot be launching any aircraft. Sneaky boys, are you guys close enough yet? I want you to rearm. Replenish ships. All ships rearmed. Let me just check that. "10 torpedoes, 14 torpedoes, perfect." Okay, so the sneaky boys are back in the fight. And we shall send them out to Guadalcanal to go and have some fun around these waters. Because previously there was no shortage of Japanese shipping out there. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is more ships to be sunk out there now. Enemy ships, oh here we go again, it's another night raid. 3 destroyers, 1 light cruiser, and no fewer than 4 heavy cruisers are going to do an attack on Port Moresby. This is going to get annoying. That means Port Moresby is now a Tier 2 airport. That bombardment keeps knocking off parts that I would rather like to keep intact. Exactly what their point is, I don't know. Port Moresby is something I need to maintain control of. And sending a couple of ships out here would mean I would have to pull away forces from Guadalcanal. Which is something I really don't like to do, because I'm currently very much focused on taking the island here. Of course, whether it's going to work, I don't know. TF9 has an encounter with what? We don't know with what. Okay, let's have a look. Activate radars. And sonar systems. 'Cause I wouldn't at all be surprised if we're going to be under torpedo attack. Could be an aircraft, could be a torpedo attack, I'm not sure. Let's turn hard to port. Not seeing anything. Weather conditions, sea state 5, no layer, so if there is a submarine, it's going to be a bit more difficult for them to do something. Or at least to hide. Alright, that's about a 90-degree turn. Now, the enemy usually targets the number 1 ship, so the ship that's leading the formation. And that is the battleship at this point. I'd really, really prefer it if the Washington didn't have to go all the way back to get repaired. Because this is a premier weapon in the fight against all of those cruisers, lights and heavies. There is definitely something out here, because we cannot retreat instantly. Steady course. Any bubble trails? Nothing. From the other ships, can we see something? Nope. What the hell are we fighting? The only thing I can imagine is that it's either an aircraft or an airstrike that's coming at me. Oh, no, it's not. Because aircraft generally don't throw out star shells. We're getting lit up by something. So why the hell are we having such a tough time identifying whatever it is? There's another star shell out there. A whole bunch more. This is going to be an interesting fight, especially since I don't know what I'm fighting. Hold on, something is going off. Or maybe it's not coming, or it's not going off, it's coming down. Yeah, there's more star shells all around. Whatever it is, radar's not finding it. Ammo check. Good enough. Although the Washington is getting a little bit lower on her ammunition supply. We might have to send her back to rearm. And I hope that the Enterprise's task force can take up the slack. Unfortunately, it's too early in the morning for me to launch any kind of aircraft from the Washington. Of course, I cannot do that in the battle even if I wanted to. But also, if I get out of the battle, there's nothing stopping them from instantly re-engaging me. Look at that, there's star shells all over the place. You'd think that my radar would give me a massive advantage. Because I can see in the dark. Well, no. So whatever it is that's out there, it's still out there. And the Enterprise is unable to offer any assistance because she too cannot launch aircraft in the dark. Another encounter. What are we fighting? Oh, hold on, this is a different encounter. Oh crap. This could be against a submarine. This is the 2 damaged ships from the task force which are heading home. It's Wichita and Waller. Moderate damage, 2 flooded compartments, one of the funnels is out of commission. The Waller are minor damage. Torpedo spotted. Waller increased to flank. Here, torps. Wichita, continue your turn to port. Let's nail the bastard. Now, this time around, I will try to actually slow down, because previously I was doing 10 to 14 knots, and supposedly that is too fast when you're dealing with enemy submarines. You need to be slower than that. So that's what I intend to do. I want to go slower, somewhere in the range of 7 to 9 knots, let the sonar do its job, and then throw out some depth charges and sink the bastard. Jeez, it's hard to see. They picked a perfect time to engage. Where are they? There they are. Uh-oh. Slow down a little on the turn. Oh shit, you're turning way too far. This is going to be an annoying fight, isn't it? Well, at least you're not going to get hit. You're safe. Alright, so the torpedoes came from somewhere around here. Waller's doing 23 knots. She's not quite capable of doing full speed because of the damage that she's taken. One of her torpedo launchers has been knocked out and one of the funnels is not functional, which is probably the reason why the speed isn't working. So whatever it is, it's pretty much straight behind the position of the Wichita, if I'm not mistaken. Let's start slowing down. Slow down to 9 knots. And look at what we have found. The Waller has detected an enemy submarine. So now we're going to hunt the guy down. Unfortunately, it is just the Waller that needs to do all the work, because she does not have any assistance from another enemy or from another destroyer. I cannot spot them. I cannot, well, let's say, light them up with the flashlight technique. So you have one destroyer lighting them up with sonar and the other engaging. Nope, it's just going to be the Waller solo. The enemy sub's doing 7 knots. I'm going to race at it at about 16 knots, which means I'll temporarily lose sight of it. But once I get closer, I'm going to slow down to, again, just about 9 knots, spot it, drop it, and kill it. And we can continue on home. At least, I hope so. After a bit of sprint and drift, I have managed to close the distance to 386 yards and closing. The bastard is right here and almost at the surface, interestingly. I'm not exactly sure what their plan is, but I might be able to hit them with the guns. Because they do have a little, well, they're not sticking out of the water just yet. But they're definitely at periscope depth. So, let's try that theory. Yeah. Fire. Unfortunately, they probably won't fire at all. Because there is, in fact, nothing to shoot at. Once they start surfacing, it becomes a whole different issue. But they're not going to. At least, none of it's up to them, probably. So let's speed up one more time. Go up to 20 knots. And slow down when we are on top of them. Start deploying the depth charges. The Waller is now so close that even at a speed of 19 knots, she's still perfectly capable of detecting the submarine. At this depth, though... Oh, actually, no, she's going down. She's diving. So, let's slow down. Prepare some depth charges. See if I can line up perfectly above the submarine. That'd be great. Come left. They're doing 7 knots. I'm still doing 12. I'm going to be just a little faster. Just about 9 knots should do it. Are they changing course? Not really. They're just more or less sticking it out here. That's fine. ASW is still something I quite enjoy doing. If you can actually find the submarine. That, of course, is about 80% of ASW in general. Finding the bastard so you can sink it. It's not easy. Especially when you don't really have a good angle on them. And especially if they don't launch, which I think is what just happened to the group. Well, actually, no, it wouldn't be a submarine because the submarines wouldn't fire star shells, probably. But overall, if you have a submarine and they throw torpedoes at you at an arc, thank God the AI doesn't do that, but that would be a nightmare to launch or to track down. Their speed is 7 knots. They are continuing to dive. 225, 230, 235, 240. Commence attack. Their speed is sticking at 7 knots. I'm going to stick my speed at 7 knots as well. Well, let's make it... Yeah, let's make it 8. Because then I'm still slightly faster than the sub. And I should be raining down holy hell on them. In the form of depth charges. This guy is not happy. No, I can still see him, but whether I can actually see him or whether this is a sort of projection of where he's going to be, that's still not quite clear. Slow down. Let him escape from underneath me, so that I can once again acquire him. Waller doing 3 knots now, or at least order 3, doing 3. Contact, once again detected. Depth 262. Okay, so you're not quite dead yet, huh? I was expecting to see this number go down, as they would continue to dive, but they're not. They're not continuing to dive, and they're not sinking either. So we're just gonna have to push them a little harder. Steady course, yeah, I know. We're gonna lose them. Yeah, you can't see whatever you're dropping at. Launch. I'm not great with these things manually. So I'm hoping I'm doing this alright. I think the depth is okay. And the number here should just be the amount of salvos that I'm dropping. Oh, that could almost hit right on top of the sub if it hits. Come on, take a hint. Come up for air. Hard to port. Slow down. That has to choke the guy out. Come left. We need to find him. Reacquire the target. Let's make for a lot of speed temporarily. There she is again. Depth 267, 271, 272. They might be sinking. Because this is deeper than they normally want to go. They're beyond their test depth. I'm assuming it's one of those B1s or B2s. Test depth 3... Oh, actually no, they're not beyond test depth yet. They could still go lower. 304. 310. Go on. 315. What's your plan, buddy? Do we need to hit you again? 328. They're now beyond their test depth. And they're coming up. I think they're doing an emergency blow. 304 feet, 300 feet. They're definitely coming up. Hard to starboard, because otherwise we might ram into it. I'm all for sinking submarines, but not by ramming into them. Waller, move your ass. Full ahead flank. Uh-oh. Come on. I could still... I could still throw a few depth charges at him. Just to motivate him some more. Yeah, I know I lost him. Big deal. I think we're gonna find him soon enough. Alright, continue the turn to starboard. Prepare to fire the guns at him. Narrow spread, we should be able to instantly detect them. Come on. No way. Are you still playing games? There he is. Is he not surfacing? No, he's just still working on it. They're definitely gonna come up. Come on. One thing that could improve upon this design is the turning circle. Hello. No, just guns. Not manual fire. Get the bastard. They are returning fire, to their credit, and they actually hit me as well. Fire on the general quarter on the starboard side. Finish it. There she goes. Job done. We can go home. Because that is where we were originally heading. Home. And I'm actually thankful that it was Task Force 9 that found this submarine and not Task Force 12, which is the Enterprise's group. So this is the Enterprise Task Force. Alright. Now, I'm sure that there's going to be more conflict soon, but I'll be doing that in a different episode. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you soon for the next.